you want to create any button on the list view page, when I say list view page, when you click on the tab, you are getting the view here. This is called list view page. When I click on the contacts, it's already loaded, right? Now view. Now what is this called? List view page. On the list view page, I want to create a button. What is the advantage of creating a button on the list view page? The buttons which are created on the list view page, they are allowed to work with multiple records. I selected these records and click on the button. These records should be deleted. I select these records, click on convert. All these record opportunity state should be converted into closure one. When I select the records, click on update. Change the owner from Pradesh to Wilson. So you want to perform what? Mass operation. Selecting a group of records. At a time you are trying to work on group of record. If you want to select a group of record and work on them. If you want to select a group of records and work on them, then we are going for standard set controller. Single record, standard controller. Group of record, standard set controller. Apex page dot standard set controller. Now, the point here is, how are you getting all these records? Because I selected all opportunities. You will say this closing next month, only one record. Based on the filter what we got. Based on the filter what I got. Based on the filter what I got, I am getting the option, right? Based on this filter, I am getting this option. I am not getting all the opportunities. Based on the filter which is applied there, I am getting the opportunities. Based on whatever the filter I applied, I am getting the opportunities. Remember this point. I am going to use this point. Now let us go for the extension. I want to create a mass delete on lead. Now, if it is a standard controller, one record is referring. If it is a standard set controller, list of, it's a list of read what it is referring. Public read standard set. Apex pages dot standard set control. Apex pages dot standard set control. Apex pages dot standard set control. Now, I told you, apart from ID, if you want any other fields, so add these fields. Controller dot add. We are adding the fields. So why are we adding these fields? Apart from ID, if you want to get the records, if you want to get the fields, apart from ID, if you want to collect the information about any other fields, we need to add those fields to the controller. So controller dot add fields. Okay. Now, do you want all the records or you want selected records? Now when you give this, you are getting a list of opportunities. You want all these opportunities or only selected opportunities you want? Only selected opportunities. So what I say, I will say it's equal to list of lead controller dot get select. Get only selected records. Now what do you want to do with the selected records? You already selected records. What do you want to do? You already selected records. What do you want to do? Page reference. It's then I'm giving page reference equal page reference equal to new page reference. Here we have the home page. After deleting, I want to come back to the same page. What I'm doing here, box, whatever the records I selected, delete those records and take me to the list view page. Whatever the records I selected, delete those records, take me to the list view page. When I say control dot get selected, whichever the records I selected from the list view, get those records. So when I call delete leads, what I'm doing? Deleting the list of leads. I will deal with this. Now why I have taken standard set controller? From the list view page, I want to select a group of records. Now look at the VF page. Standard controller. Then we have extension. It was then record setback. Record setback. Why I am using this record setback? I told you, you are getting a list of records. You are getting a list of records because of this filter. Because of this filter, if I say today leads, you are getting 0 records. You will say view custom 1, you are getting these records. So what is this? Based on this filter, we are getting the records. Out of those records, whichever I am selecting, I am getting. So how are you getting these records? Based on the filter. How to get this filter? Record setback items. Record setback items. So based on the filter, what are the records we are getting? Those records are in items. Okay. So go back to this. The page. Page. One button. Value equal to lead. Then we are getting record last name. Value equal to this is how I created. So page is created very good. Standard control with extension we have done. But the problem is, if it is a detail page, if it is a detail page button, I might have gone to page layout, added the button. But this is not a detail page button. It's a list view page button. How to create a list view button? If it is a page layout, if it is a detail record, if it is a button on the detail page, go to the page layout, add the button. But this is not a detail page. It is a list view button. So how do you get the list view button? Go to the setup. Go to the setup. customize, leads, we have buttons, new button, mass delete. What type of button is this? List button. Do you want the check boxes? Yes, because I need to select some of the records. I need check boxes for every record. Display the existing window. Yes. What do you want to display? Visual Force. There is only one Visual Force page which has an extension of standard set controller. So straight away the page came. So clear the creation of button is done. Now how to add this button on the list view page? How to add this button on the list view page? Go to this. Here we are finding search layout. Go back to this. We are finding here result search layout. In the search layout, what is the search layout? When you click on the tab, which field should be displayed? When you click on when you search for the record, which field should be displayed? All of them are in search layout. Here you are finding here. What is this? List view. List view. Click on this. Say what buttons you want to specify. Then go to the lead. You're getting a button called mass. Now, what do you want to select? Select them. What are the leads you want to open? I selected the leads. Then I told mask. When I told mask delete, all the leads, whatever I selected, they are displayed. Now I'm saying action attribute formula is required. Where is the bug? Right. Then you got a list of record. So all those records are deleted. Right. Are you clear about this? Right. So what I'm doing? List view button. Similarly, I want to perform converts. I want to perform change of owner. I want to perform update. So whatever the action you want to perform, it's your choice. But if you want to work on a group of records, then we go for mass operation. If you want to work on a group of records, we go for mass operation. Let me give you one more example. Now here, on opportunity, I want to create. Now, I'll get a button called convert. When you click on this, selected records are, the selected record stage name is modified to closed one. The selected record stage name is modified to closed one, and the close date is modified as today. Whichever the records I'm selecting, those record stage names should be modified as, closed one, and close date should be modified as today. That's the operation. Where I want to create? I want to create a button on the opposite. Right. If you want to create a button on this, it's called list view button. If you want to go with the list view button, what is the concept we have to use? Standard set controller. Why standard set controller? Because it is referring to group of record. As it is referring to a group of record, I require standard set controller. What all the methods are there in standard set controller, we'll see later. But we are first going with extensions. So go back to this. Opti mass convert. So how do you write it? Because it's a list of opportunities. Then I'm going with public. Standard controller. Right. What are the fields we want? List of things. What are the fields on which I'm going to work? Stage name, close date. We're going to work on which fields? Why are you adding the fields every time? Because when you say controller, standard set controller or standard controller, it only gives ID of the record. Apart from ID of the record, if you want any other fields, we need to add them. Stage name, controller dot add fields. Now we need to get all the list of records of the list. Let's select. You want all the records or only selected records? I'm going with only selected records. So I'm taking list of fields, controller dot get selected records. Then I have method here. Public void take one by one record. We dot is name equal to 1 and OP dot is equal to if OP dot stage name is not equal to closed 1, convert into closed 1 and set the closed equal to 2. Then perform update. Once you made an update, you want to stay back on the same page or come back to home page? Okay. Page reference for the home page. This is how we created. Now I want to create a VF page. VF page. Mask convert. Add a controller. Opportunity. Extensions. Record set where. Then I'm giving here action. If I write an action on the page, what happened? Was when the page is loading, perform this action. Before the page is loaded, perform this action. When it's an action, before the page is loaded, perform this action. Before the page is loaded, perform this action. Before the page is loaded, perform this action. When it's an action, before the page is loaded, perform this action. How do you get the button now? Setup, setup, build, customize, opportunities, buttons and links, new button, mask convert, list view button, view page, mask convert. Now how to add this button to the list view page? Opportunities, search layout, opportunities list view, add the mask convert button. Go to opportunities, all the opportunities. Go to the list of opportunities, we have a mask convert. So here we have ID, value proportion, selected some records here. And I told master. It's emergency express logistics. When I click on this, I told immediately performed and came back. No in between page. I told when you click on this, call a VF. VF is automatically calling what? Action. Before the page is loaded, perform the action. What the action is doing? Updating the records and going to a particular page. There is a reason no VF page has come. When you click on the button, directly converted, came back to the same page. Now look at this edge communication, edge emergency. Right, boss? Are you clear about this? So this is the concept of standard set control. If you want to go for extension, so if you want to use any FX class as an extension, that FX class should have FX pages dot standard controller or FX pages dot standard set controller as a parameter in the constructor. If you want to use any extension concept, the FX class which is used as an extension, that class should have constructor with one parameter. That parameter is FX pages dot standard controller or FX pages dot standard set controller. If you want to create a detailed page buttons, we'll go with the standard controller. If you want to create a list view buttons, we go with the standard controller. Standard controller as an object, standard set controller as a extension. Are you clear about this format? People are clear? Okay. Now the point is, listen to the point. This is generally asked question in the interviews. This is generally asked question. Listen to the point. Extension 1. Standard control. A class which has two variables and two methods is an extension class. I am creating one more class. So look at this. If you look at this, how many variables we have? In both the classes, there is one method which is common. What is the variable which is common? Name is available in the extension 1. Name is available in the extension. Name is available in the extension 1. Name is available in the extension 2. Show method is available in both the classes. Are you clear? Show method is available in both the classes. Show method is available in both the classes. Name is available in both the classes. Age is available in extension 1. Branch is available in extension 2. Now the question is, can I use more than one class as an extension? I'm defining standard control extensions. Extension 1. What was that? Can we define more than one class as an extension? Yes, we can define more than one fx class as an extension. In a single VF page, we can define more than one fx class as an extension. In a single VF page, we can define more than one fx class as an extension. Can you define more than one class as an extension? Yes, we can define. Now, when you define more than one, I'm having it. Name and branch, there is no conflict because age and branch, there is no conflict. Age is available in one, branch is available in two. But name is available in both the things. Name is available in extension 1, extension. Similarly, I have effects. When I say show, which is show? First class or second class? I said show, which class? First class or second class? Call age. It is available only in the first. So when there is a conflict, which will dominate? If you are defining more than one fx class as an extension, if you are defining more than one fx class as an extension, if you are defining more than one fx class as an extension, and there is a conflict in names, method names or variable names, which will dominate. Let us run this. So the order of execution is left to right. Always check for the data in the left one. Always check for the data in the left one. What is the left one? Extension 1. Check for the name in extension 1. If it is available, print it. Not available, then go to extension 2. First, always check in the left class. If it is not available in the left class, then go to the right class. Name. Check whether the name is available in the left class. Yes, it is available. So what is giving? Yep. Age, it is available in the first group. Yes. Branch, it's not available in the first class. Go to the second class. Show. When I click on the show, it is available in the first class. So don't take it in the second class. So what is the output you are getting? Capital for solution. Age. Branch. Are you getting my point here? So what it is doing? First verify whether the variable is available in the first class. Extension 1. Is it available? Yes. It is available. So run this. If it is available in the first class, don't take it in the second class. So order of execution is left to right. If it is available in the left, don't check for the right class. So if you can define, you are allowed to define more than one fx class as an extension in the single VF page. The single VF page, we can define more than one fx class as an extension. If we define more than one fx class as an extension, order of their execution is from left to right. Order of their execution is from left to right. So check in the left class. If the variable or a method is not available in the left class, then go and check in the right class. Are you clear? So this is a generally asked question. So take the point. Take the point. Can we define more than one fx class? Can we define more than one fx class as an extension? Can we define more than one fx class as an extension in the VF page? More than one fx class as an extension in the VF page? Answer is yes. Answer is yes. Right. Next one. If we define more than one fx class, if we define more than one fx class as an extension, if we define more than one fx class as an extension, if we define more than one fx class as an extension, their order of execution will be their order of execution will be left to right. Their order of execution will be left to right. Their order of execution will be left to right, which means check for the variables or methods. Check for the variables or methods in the leftmost class. Check for the variables and methods in the leftmost class. If they are not available in the left class, then they will be verified in the next class. I hope I am clear. So, now tell me, what is the purpose of an extension? Extensions are used to override standard buttons or create custom buttons on standard pages. You want to add a custom buttons on standard pages, or you want to replace standard buttons on standard buttons, you'll go for what? You'll go for extension. Extensions are used to override the standard buttons or create custom buttons on standard pages. Are you clear? In how many ways we can go for an extension? Standard set controller, standard controller. What is the difference between these two? Standard controller will refer to a single record. Set controller will refer to a group of record. Is that was clear for everyone? Everyone has followed these two concepts? Okay. Now, we will try to understand all the methods which are there in standard set controller. We have just seen only one method called get selected. Now, the core theme of the standard set controller. FX pages dot standard set controller, it has so many predefined methods. The other purpose of this FX pages dot standard set controller is standard set controller. We are trying to use standard set controller is also used for another concept called extension. Standard set controller is also used for a concept called extension. We have a concept called extensions. We are using. Similarly, standard set controller also can be used for a concept called pagination. So what is that pagination? Let us say you are searching. I am searching for Salesforce. When you are searching for Salesforce, how many results are found? So 4 crore 87 lakhs results are found. Now all those records are displayed in a single page? No, they are not doing that. So what they are doing? They are giving per page 10 links. Per page they are showing you 10 information. Next if you want, next 10, next 10, next 10. You want the last, go to last. Right? So what is called? Pagination. Now we have a group of records here. When you have a group of records, per page I am displaying how many? 10. If you want the next records, I am clicking on next. You want the last records, I am clicking on this. Last set of record. First set of record. What was this called? What was this called? Pagination. When I have a group of records, I cannot display all the records. If you display all the records at a time in the page, then the view state exception will come. If you have 1000 records, if I display all the 1000 records at a time, is it easy for you to search? Is it easy for you to access? No. So obviously what I am doing? I am breaking them into number of pages. Per page I am showing you 10 records. When you click on next 10 records, next 10 record, previous 10 record, last set of record, first set of record. This concept is called as pagination. We can achieve this pagination by using standard set controller. So before I go further into standard set controller, let me give you all the methods which are there in the standard set controller. What are the methods that we have in the standard set controller? First point, when you are going for a standard set controller is going to refer to group of records. Standard set controller is referred to group of record. Standard set controller is referring to group of record. When it is referring to group of records, how to pass this group of records to standard set controller? First question is how to pass. So what we are doing? Writing a SQL query, getting the list of records. We are passing the list of records as parameter to the standard set controller. write a sample query, pass the list of records to the standard set controller. Or else what we can do? Straight away write the query in the constructor. These are 2 points. Okay. Next one. What are the methods we have? First, what I need to do? Set the page size. When you got 1000 records per page, how many records should be displayed? What you have to say, per page how many records should be displayed? Then only we will see whether we have next records or previous records. So how do we set the number of records per page? Set the page size. Set the page size. When I set the page size, let us say I have 500 records. Or let us say I have 50 records. When I have 50 records, I told page size. When I told page size 5, right now I am displaying, I am on the first page. The first 10 records are displayed here. First 10 records are displayed here. The first 10 records are displayed here. So I want to know on which page I am. Per page there are 10 records, okay. Is it a first page or second page or third page or fourth page? Which page is that? So I will get what? Get page number set. What are the method? If you want to set the page number or get the page number, then we are going to use set page number. So when you say set page number, go to that page and display those 10 records. When you say click on next, look at this point. When you are going for this, when you say 5, it is taking me to what? 50 page. Why is it taking me to 50 page directly? Set the page size equal to 5. So take me to the 50 page. Now I am saying 10. Take me to the 10th page. Are you getting my point here? Straight away I am going to the page. Set page. So first set the page size. Set the page size. Second one page number. Page number. Set selected. In the previous example, what you have done? Get selected. Similarly, if you want to select some of the records, out of the records what we have, you want to select some of the records programmatically, you will use what? Set selected. Set the page number, set page size, set selected. Set a filter ID. What is the filter ID? All the opportunities. We got all the opportunities. Okay. Then today's opportunities. What is that filter? Based on the filter, we got list of record. Based on the list of records, we are selecting some records, right? So if you want to set the filter ID programmatically, you can say set filter ID. Then you want to save them. You want to go for a previous, next, last, previous records, last record, next record. Then what are the records which are selected? Get result size. How many records have come? Standard set control is referring to how many records. Because you are writing a query and getting how many records are there in the standard set controller. Get result size. Get records. Get all the records of the page. When you say get record, get all the records of the page. The page currently on which you are working. The page on which you are currently working. Get the records of the page. If it is only one record, get record. Get the page size. How many records are there in the page? Now, list view option. What is the list view option? Is the record? List view option. Out of this, whatever you selected is called filter ID. This is called list view. Out of this, what you selected is called filter ID. So, list view option. Okay. Are there any previous records? Are there any next records? Are there any next record? Compressed. Record limit. If more than 10,000 records, you want to compress it. First cancel. Are you clear about this? The names are saying what they are. The method name itself is saying what they are. So using this, what we can do? We can control the list of records and display them like a pagination. Display them like a pagination. I will explain one example. Let us see this. So public list of for your understanding, I'll give you one example. Public string we used to write getter and setter method, right? We used to write get and set method. What is the meaning of get method? Return the value. Okay, instead of writing a get method and set method separately, they simply giving set semicolon, get semicolon. Given name, have a preview. What do you got here? Satisfied. How are you getting this? When you say name, what actually it is calling? Get name. When you are referring to a name, what exactly it is calling? Get name. It's calling the getter method of the name. When you say name, it's calling what? Get name. Till now we give set semicolon, get semicolon. So we are not understanding this. But when you say name, what is called? Get name is called. What is called? Get name is called. If we call optimist, what is called? Get optimist. If we call age, what is called? Get age. Are you getting my point here? So when you say age, it is calling what? Get age. Get optimist. Like that is calling. Remember this point. We are going to use this one. First one I am giving. Public apex page dot standard set controller. Public then I am getting list of opportunity. Then I am giving controller equal to new apex page dot standard set controller. Apex pages dot standard set controller. So what did I do? I wrote a sample query, gave a list of records. Then here I am giving public list of opportunity. Get opti. When you get opti, if somebody call opti, what will be called? Get opti. Get opti is giving you what? List of opportunity record. Now how to get the records? List of opti equal to list of opportunity. Controller dot get records. Now controller dot get records. All the records which are there in the controller, all of them will be displayed. All the records which are there in the controller, all of them will be displayed. So initially what I wrote? I wrote a sample query. Pass all the records to a standard set controller. Then the method what I am doing? Controller dot get records. When you say controller dot get records, it is going to get all the records which are stored in the standard set controller. What are the records I stored in the standard set controller? All the records are fixed by using get records. Get me all the records of standard set controller. Here I am giving. I will explain it one by one. Listen carefully. When I say opti, what will be called? Get opti method. So let us see this first format. Have a preview. Now what happened? All the records came. All the records came. But do you want to display all the records at a time? You don't want to display all the records at a time. You want to display only 5 records per page. You want to split them into number of records per page. So how do you split? I'm giving here controller dot set controller dot set file size. So per page how many records? Whenever I say get records, what will happen? Whenever I say get records, what is happening? When you say get records, it is going to give only the 5 records of the page. Right now on which page I am, only that page 5 records will be given to you. Go back and see how many records are displayed. First to 5 records. The records which are on the first page. The records which are on the first page are given to you. The records which are on the first page are given to you. Which records are given to you? The list of records which are on the first page. Okay. Now what I am doing here? I am applying some condition. Public teacher. Here I am giving. So how many records are there? Count equal to controller dot get count equal to controller dot get result size. What is this result size? We have a method. What is the result size? It tells you number of records in the set. How many records are there in the standard set controller? Those are given. When you say result size, it will give you number of records in the standard set controller. How many records are there? Now, how many pages are there? If you want to know pages equal to count by 5. Page equal to count by 5. Page equal to count by 5. So how many pages are there? Those will come. Count by 5. If there are 50 records, 50 by 5, 10 pages. Total how many pages are there? 10 pages are there. Right boss? 10 pages are there. Next one, we are giving here. What is the value here? Current equal to control dot get. We are giving what? What is the current? Get to the current page number. Current page is the first page or second page or third page. What is the page number? So what is the count? Number of records. What is the page? How many pages are there? What is current? Currently I am on which page? Currently I am on which page? Are you getting my point? Right. Now, for the page block, can I create a facet? What is facet? Enter it. So for the page block, I am creating a facet. Footer. The footer I am giving current of I am giving total how many records? Current into 5 of listen to the format. What is this? 1 of there are 6 pages. First page of 6 pages and 5 records of 33. 5 pages of 33 records. Overall, how many records are there? 33 records are there. In that, how many records are displayed? 5 records. Total, how many pages are there? 6 pages. Now, what is the current page? 1. Get the page number. Are you clear about this? Are you getting my point? So, what I am using? Get the result size. Get the page number. So, per page, if you know the page number, second page, 2 into 5, 10 records out of 33. Fourth page, 4 into 5, 20 records out of. Are you clear about this? Are you clear about this format? Clear for everyone? Clear for everyone? So here, at the same time, I want to use some buttons here. What are the buttons I want to give? fx command button value equal to action equal to you want to give a symbol in you. Previous so I got the buttons here. Go back. So what are those? They're already predefined buttons. While we are getting the length is crossed. Okay. Probably the side might have crossed, so breaking them. Let me create here. That when I say next 2 out of 6, 10 out of 33 records. Next 3 out of 6, 15 out of 30. Last 7 out of 6, the count is missing. Okay, why the count is missing? Because I told divide by clear by 5. So when you have more than the records, the count is coming extra. So I need to round off them. Round off to the next digit. I have to round off to the next digit. So last. Next we have previous. First. Are you getting my point here? So these are the buttons. But do you want to display all those buttons directly? When you are already in the first set. When you are already in the first set, should I display previous at first? You are already on the first page. When you are already in the first page, buttons called previous and first should not be displayed. Then how do you avoid it? Apply rendered. What is the concept of rendered? Display or not. When already you are on the first page, don't display this. How do you display it? Control dot. If it has previous, then only display this. Control has a previous, then only display this. If the control has any previous record, then display it. Rendered. If the control has any next records, all these are what? Predefined methods. Otherwise, I have to write a lot of code to check this. If I want to achieve the same functionality, I have to write a lot of code. But whereas in this, we already have predefined functionalities. So what is that? I am on the first record, so previous and first is not displayed. Next, I got previous and first. As I am on the second set, this is the previous records. Next, last. Are you getting my point here? Is that was clear for everyone? Clear for everyone? Clear for everyone? Am I clear? Am I clear? Am I clear, friends? Right. Now, some logic is missing. What was the logic? Because we are getting 35. Because I gave page number into 5. I should not give page number into 5, so I should give what? I should give as what? Page number minus total number of records. Okay. If the page number equal to last page, if the page number equal to last page, I have to give count of records. I have to give count of records. So what is this concept called? Pagination. What is this concept called? Pagination. Now look at this format. One advantage of this pagination is, listen, there is a concept called view state. There is a concept called view state. Listen to the concept carefully. This is clear for everyone. So what about this? There are some predefined methods available using which we are applying pagination. Using which we are applying pagination. Listen to this point. This is also one of the frequently asked interview question. What is this view state? What is this view state? I wrote a circle query. I got a list of. Now, what are you getting here? Anything that is displayed in the VF page, first that will be saved to view state. First that will be saved to view state. From view state, the data will be saved to, the data will be displayed to the VF page. Anything that you display in the VF page, first that will be saved on view state. That will be saved on view state. From view state, that will be displayed on VF page. Look at this. When you go to this controller, sample example, how many records we get? All the records are here. Are you getting my point? Everything that you are trying to display in the VF page, first they are stored to what? View state. From the view state, they will be displayed to the VF page. But in the view state, there is a problem. The maximum size of the view state is 135 KB. Maximum size of the view state is 135 KB. If you are writing a sample query, sample is giving 1000 records, sample query is giving 1000 records, then obviously what happened? View state will be occupied. Then if it is more than 135 KB, it throws an exception called view state exception. It throws an exception called view state exception. I wrote a sample query, I got 15,000 records. If you try to display those 15,000 records in the VF page, obviously what it is? View state exception. To avoid this view state exception, we'll go for what? Pagination. When I go to the pagination, look at this. When I go to pagination, at a time how many records are coming? Look at this. State, controller, example. Are you getting the view state? Are you getting the records in the view state? We are displaying the records here, right? How many records are displayed? 5 records are there. But are we finding those 5 records here in the pagination? Are you finding the 5 records? You are not finding the 5 records. Why? It's a cursor based operation. So it is not going to get the data to view state. It is not going to get the records into view state. If you write a general query, those records are displayed in the view state. But whereas when you go for a pagination, the list of records which you are trying to display in the pagination, they are not displayed in the view state. So they are not going to occupy view state. They are not going to occupy view state. Are you getting my point? So instead of displaying the records straight away, instead of writing a query and displaying the records straight away, if you go with the pagination, they will not be occupying the view state, which can solve the issue of view state exception. When you are going with the displaying of larger number of records, when you are going with the displaying of larger number of records, when you are going with the displaying of larger number of records, then if you go with the pagination, they will not be occupying the view state. The issue of view state will be resolved. So what is the view state? Any data that is displayed on the VF page, first they will be stored to view state. From the view state, they will be displayed on the VF page. So there is a limitation for the view state, that is 135 KB. If it is crossing 135 KB, it throws an exception called view state exception. If you want to resolve this, one of the solution is pagination. If you display the records using a pagination, the data what is displayed by the controller, that will not be there in the view state. That will not be saved on the view state. That's how we can avoid this view state. One of the solution. Second solution, if you remember, at the time of giving a batch effects I told, state of the static variable will not be maintained. You remember that point? When implemented a stateful interface, I have taken two variables, one static variable, one non-static variable. Static variable state is not maintained. So if you define any variable as a static variable, that for the variable data is not maintained in the view state. Static variable data is not maintained in the view state. Static data, any data which is a static, their data will not be maintained in the view state. Any data which is static, their data will not be displayed in the view state. Any data which is static, their data will not be displayed in view state. Are you clear about this point? Clear? Are you clear about this? So, what is the view state? Any data that is displayed on the VF page, there will be first the data will be fetched to view state. From the view state, there will be displayed to the VF page. Now, view state has an exception of as a size limit. What is the size limit? 135 KB. What is the size limit? 135 KB. If the size is more than 135 KB, it throws an exception called view state exception. How do you resolve it? We can use static variables. We can use transient variables. We can use a transient. Transient means that will not be saved. Like your passwords are there. Your passwords cannot be stored to any database. They can be used for only operation. They cannot be saved to data. They cannot be saved to any variable. Transient variables, static variables, or page references. Are you getting my point? Or using what? Standard set controller or standard set controller or standard set controller. If you use standard set controller and apply the pagination, the data will not be maintained in the view state. Are you clear about this? Then immediate question they will be asking, what are the other ways of using a pagination? You have done one way of pagination. The immediate question they ask you is, tell me other ways of implementing the pagination. We can achieve the pagination by using soft code with offset. Soft code with limit and offset. Can I achieve with this? When I click on first, I'll say limit 5 offset. If I click on next, limit 5. If you click on next, limit 5. If you click on previous, we can apply sample query with limited offset. But what is the problem? Every time we click on a button, sample query has to run. Every time we click on a button, new sample query has to run. Right? What is the second problem? What is the max value of offset? Max value of offset is 2000. That means we can go up to only 2000. Beyond 2000, it is not able to support. If you go with a pagination with the sample query and offset, is one of the choice. But there are two drawbacks for this. First drawback is, every time you click on the button, it has to run a sample query. Every time you click on a button, new sample query has to run and fetch the data. That is one drawback. Second drawback is, max value of offset is 2000. We cannot go beyond 2000. That is the second drawback. Then is there any other way? Yes. Using Ajax toolkit also we can achieve. But what is the drawback of it? You can fetch. We can fetch only 5 fields only. The reusability of data is not there. So what are the three ways in which we can achieve the pagination? One is standard set controller. Second one is sample query with limited offset. Third one is Ajax toolkit. Out of these three, which is the best choice? Standard set controller is the best choice. Standard set controller is the best choice. I hope you are clear. Clear for everyone? Clear? Clear, boss? So, that's all from my end.